The last year, it was like that. I started feeling there has to be more. Everything felt very superficial. I just wanted more from life. Honestly, I walked away and I didn't even look back. I haven't missed it once, which I thought I would, but I haven't.
Hello, friend. Welcome back to the Awakened Entrepreneur Show. I am Juan Galan, your host, and I am so excited because I have a brand new guest to the show. But this is a very special one. Not only because she's a very good, dear friend of mine, but she's also a mentor, and she was the queen of Instagram marketing. I'm pretty sure you know her. Her name is Carole. She used to have the Digital Buzz, an Instagram marketing company where she helped business owners and entrepreneurs grow their business on Instagram. She had a very famous course called On Your Instagram Like a CEO. And in 2023, she decided to quit her business and dedicate her life to her family business, but also to God. So I'm going to be chatting to her about all the things that happened when she decided to quit and what has she been up to since then. So hi, Carole. I'm so happy to have you in the show.
I am super excited and I hope to live up to that beautiful intro that you just did. I am super happy to be here to talk about, honestly, the most important thing that I feel every entrepreneur should have, which is living a more God-centered life and how
Yes.
to help yourself as an entrepreneur. So I love this pivot that you did in your business. And this is the first podcast I've done in almost 2 years since I left, because I think
Wow.
the message is that important.
I feel honored. And this is like, I'm just having flashbacks of our Instagram live sessions that were so good and so popular. And I know that people miss them a lot. But we're not going to be talking about Instagram marketing today. We're going to be talking about more meaningful things. So, Carole, I want to start by asking a question that I'm pretty sure that a lot of people that followed you, your clients, your students, and people in your community is asking themselves. Like, what was the one thing that made you just quit it all and drop your successful business all of a sudden?
Yeah, I know it's very strange to suddenly at the height of your business suddenly quit. And honestly, it came progressively the last year. The last year of my business, I ran the Digital Buzz for 7 years, and I had my courses. One of the most successful courses that I had is the Run Your Instagram Like a CEO. And it was all great on paper, but I started feeling a little empty inside, a little also overworked. And it just seemed like I was becoming a little self-indulgent, to say it in a way that is a little more optimistic. But what I felt was, in order to be truly successful on Instagram and to really have presence and visibility, you have to talk a lot about yourself and you have to
Yeah.
post a lot about yourself. And so in the line of business that I was, you do have to have this confidence, and you have to show up, and you have to sell, and you have to talk about the success, because of course you're not going to be able to sell anything if you're not showing up. It's sort of like the nature of the business. You have to show up, otherwise no one is even going to know what you're selling. But at the same time, I started getting so tired of myself. I would look at my phone and it was like all pictures of myself and like all posts about myself, and every story was about like what I did and what I was doing and what I'm selling. And it just became very hollow and very trivial. At the same time, I kind of started my walk with Jesus. I started watching The Chosen, which is, I've always
I
been a
love it.
person of faith. But when I started watching The Chosen, it started to feel like, there's got to be more than just posting about myself on Instagram. And so the last year of my business, I sort of had an awakening that paired with the fact that my mom beat cancer on the last 2 years ago. And I started to see the fragility of life of the people that I was around with. And it sort of felt like, what am I doing? I'm spending so much time on Instagram with a whole bunch of strangers, which you think you know them, but honestly, like at the end of the day, they're not your family. They're really not. And
Yeah.
honestly, the best testament is that I left a year and a half ago, and not a lot of people like I talked to, like not a lot of people have reached out, which is fine. It's just the nature of the platform. And so it's very easy to misalign your priorities when you're on Instagram, because you are in a bubble. It's
Yeah.
very easy to think that your world is those squares. And everything revolves around those little squares, is like how many followers, how many views, how many likes, and your entire self-worth is defined by, a whole bunch of strangers who you don't even know. And so it's very easy to dictate, your happiness on a daily basis based on like how a post performed, or,
Yeah.
if you made sales, and, if someone else suddenly like has an achievement and is, further ahead than you, then you feel down on yourself. So it became this never ending cycle of like, my God, I can never be fully satisfied because,
It's
first
never
is you want to
enough.
get 10,000 followers. When you get to 10,000, it's 100,000. And, I had these moments with these huge milestones, the first 100,000. I learned very early on this concept called hedonic adaptation, which is like you celebrate something for 2 days. And very soon, all that shine, all that excitement fades away because there's the new challenge. So now it's 150,000. First, you want to get six figures, and it's seven. Then it's eight, and then it's you want speaking engagements. It's just you can never fully enjoy it because there's always the next challenge, and so there's always this emptiness inside you because there's too many points of comparison on Instagram. There's always someone who's going to be, more successful, more popular, thinner, richer, prettier, happier, more loved. And so it's a platform that can become a little toxic if you are not very grounded spiritually. So there's a way to do, of course, Instagram is a super valuable platform for business, and you can run a business and you can make great wealth on Instagram if you do it properly. And even if you don't become wealthy, you can actually get good income from Instagram and run a successful business that way. But you have to have something foundation. Otherwise, it's very easy to, to become a little jaded with everything that's happening and to forget everything that's on the outside and to forget who really matters, to forget the priorities, to forget your self-worth. And so it's, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the fact that if my post didn't perform well, my day is ruined,
Mm.
I'm no
We've all been
longer as
there.
relevant. Yeah. Or you plan this lunch, you work really hard, and then
Mm.
suddenly no sales, and then you're failure.
Yeah.
And honestly, it wasn't until I really started to getting into the walk with Jesus and really understanding what really is failure. And failure has no business in the Bible. Like it doesn't even exist. Everything is really a lesson. And so,
Everything.
it's the last year it was like that. I started feeling, there has to be more. I started feeling a little cynical about things also, like another algorithm change. Here we go. The tone, the people who follow me probably realized that I was just like over it because I was always angry and, very preachy because I was just tired. I was tired of everything and everything felt very superficial. I just wanted more from life. And honestly, I walked away and I didn't even look back. I haven't missed it once, which I thought I would, but I haven't.
Wow, everything you said is so relatable. And as you said, I'm pretty sure that everyone listening right now can relate to at least one of those points. For me, it's very true that Instagram also made me a very shallow person and also attach my self-worth to things that we cannot control, right? Like the results of a launch, the sales you make, the how a post performs. And that's exactly why I decided to make this huge pivot. Also, because I also started my walk with Jesus and I reconnected with God, and that has been like life-changing for me. And I'm so grateful for that. But I feel that Instagram is, yeah, it can be very toxic and it can disassociate you from real life, right?
Absolutely. And honestly, I love that you pivoted because it's so easy to get stuck doing the same thing that it's given results. And I was thinking about this as I was preparing for this podcast because I live in Miami. And of course, everything here is, influencers, bikini shots, and things like that. And it's so easy to, start making decisions based on superficial things like likes. I've seen, like, I used to do client calls with women who had no business posting in their bikini, but they were posting just for the likes. And it's so easy to be guided by, those very, like superficial results instead of what actually, a lot of people didn't even want to post that way, but they felt they had to because that's what the platform was requiring, or that's what success looked like. A lot of likes, a lot of views. And so people at the end of the day, a lot of people struggle internally with that. It's like, okay, but my morals are not really like aligned with the way I'm posting, but it looks successful. And so this is why, you see a lot of, people just in general posting things that don't drive business, but they look successful. And so when you start having a little bit more of a foundation of, okay, what am I here for? And something that I used to do my last year, especially, that is very helpful, is like, is asking myself everything I posted, whether it was stories, reels, a carousel, it's like, is this for ego or is this to be helpful? Because honestly, like this happens a lot, especially in our line, in our niche, which is the coaches and the business owners and, like online coaches, teaching other people how to make money. It's posting their monetary wins. It's like, I made this amount, and, like posting the screenshots. And honestly, like, are you doing that for serving purposes because you actually want to be a steward of your gift that God gave you? Or are you doing this because you somehow want people to like give you a status and how somehow you're above everyone else, or and so it's very important that everything that you post, you really ask yourself, is this like an ego driven post?
Yeah.
Because it will make all the difference in the world. And I promise you, your audience can also feel it. The audience 100%. Can feel when it's ego driven. And this is why you have people like, oh, they love the authenticity of someone specifically. And it's because they're really trying to use their gift to serve other people. And then you see this, like very superficial. They may have a lot of followers, but there's not a lot of connection. And you can notice that in the engagement level, in the comment section, that they're just like, okay, it's like easy money. And it's not really like a connection. It's more of a transactional relationship. I think that's the end result. Do you want to have a real relationship with your audience, or do you want it to be purely transactional and just like for currency purposes? And so checking in with your ego every morning became very important to me. When I would post, is like, okay, like, but what is this like? What is the intent? What is this for? Is this just for me? Like, oh, here I am, like, and this is why I would really have very intentional posts that were meant to serve people at the end. Even if I could have posted like, here's like how much I made, and here's like me traveling here. But it's like, how does this help anyone? This helps absolutely no one. And
just
so for
ego.
those people that are struggling, with that, like feeling that emptiness, it makes such a difference when you're like, okay, can this help someone on the other side? What's in it for them? Like, that's like the most important question. And honestly, like the what's in it for them concept, it drives sales at the end of the day, because it has to matter to them. You have to be like somehow helpful to the other person. Otherwise, you're just getting praise, and that's pretty much as far as your post is going to be able to go.
Yeah, something that I really loved about you is that you never you never needed to show your income claims, because the content that you were creating was so valuable, so rich in depth and in context as well, that your content made the sales for you. You didn't have to like share all these things or the lifestyle or anything. Like, that's something that I'm pretty sure that a lot of people and also your clients or ex-clients and students really admired about you. It's like, you don't have to, you were like a really, really good role model. But yeah, it's like totally agree with you. And it's like, even nowadays, like after a year and a half since you've left, this is still happening more and more, and like the lifestyle content. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with lifestyle content, because at the end of the day, we are also selling a lifestyle. But when that becomes your main revenue driver, or the main way you get clients or visibility, there's something wrong there. I also wanted to ask you the following question. Did you wrestle with fear around letting go of something so successful?
Oh my goodness, yes. I was very, very afraid that I would feel a huge emptiness after I left Instagram. I felt, oh my goodness, am I going to feel lonely? There's all these, like this huge audience, which I never thought of followers. I thought of friends. For me, it was a family. I think the word followers is so strange. See, like Jesus had followers, okay? Like everyone else has like an audience.
Well, he had 12 followers
exactly
to begin with, right?
Exactly. And so I really hated that word so much, and I never wanted to see them like that. It's like, hello guys, I did not want to see it that way, because honestly, there's there's an entire life behind each number. These are people with struggles, goals, fears, issues.
Exactly.
And so I actually developed a lot of relationships with my audience. I genuinely wanted them to do well. And I always answered on the DMs. And so I felt very afraid of walking away and not having that entire audience, all those interactions. And it was honestly because I had built that foundation in the last year of really understanding that at the end of the day, all of that is shiny stuff. It's like, it feels like it's real, but it's not real. An audience,
Mm,
it's not real. Instagram, it's just a platform. And so it's not real life. And a lot of people, including myself, I include myself, think that that's all that it is. And so you forget to be in the moment so much. And when I started to, just go out and be on vacation and really be on vacation instead of making everything a content opportunity, like
yeah.
every dinner, let's make a post, and getting on the plane, let's make this, about like something, how I can benefit from this. And everything just revolved around that. And now I don't have that. It's honestly like been very peaceful. I feel that my mental health has really increased. But I was afraid of what's going to be my identity. Now I'm not going to be the Instagram coach, and I'm not going to have, sometimes like I want to say the first month, I'm like, I want to share this on Instagram. I was like, oh, I'm not on
Mm,
Instagram anymore. And then it faded away. And I started building real relationship with family members who I had neglected, honestly, including my parents and my husband. Because everything,
yeah.
you're always on your phone. Everyone who
Always.
runs a business on Instagram know that it's not from 9 to 5. It's from 9 to 9.
Literally
It's
24/7.
Monday to Monday. And you do like, if you do Instagram well and you do it properly, the way Instagram requires you to do, you will neglect your family, because the only way for Instagram to be for you to be successful on Instagram is to put in a lot of work on the content, on the visibility, on replying to comments and DMs. And you only have enough hours in the day, so something's going to have to give. It's either your children or your parents or your husband or even yourself. Even like sometimes you may not be able to go work out because you're like in the morning, you're like posting and not replying to comments. And so you have to make a decision as to, okay, either I'm going to be very successful on Instagram, or I'm going to have a social life or a personal life. And it's very tough to do both because of the way the platform works. And honestly, this is sort of like a little manipulative, from Meta, because you have to understand that what they sell to their investors is time spent on platform. And so once you understand that the agenda of Meta is that they want you to stay on the platform, then you can sort of like, wait, is that my agenda? As a person, my agenda is not to stay on the platform endlessly, like never ending, like hours and days and weekends and holidays and everything. Even like, New Year's Day, I would see people post like a New Year's Day, like, or January 1st, and be, posting with their family. I'm like, please take a break. I promise you, Instagram will be there. Why are you posting on
Hmm.
January 1st? And so people just like forget boundaries. There's no boundaries, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. No, Instagram is so time and energy consuming. And it's something that you mentioned at the beginning is that if you are not spiritually grounded, it will consume your entire life. So this is something that I want to talk about now, because you also mentioned that you started your walk with Jesus. You were always a person of faith, but what role did faith play in this whole decision of quitting your business?
Yeah. So it was the last year when I did watch The Chosen. I think I talked to you about it, and I told you, you have to watch it.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
neither of us really go to church. We're not like people who like go to mass, but we are really believe in God. And so I always felt, like I didn't really know much about Jesus, even though I prayed to God. And what I love about The Chosen is that it taught me that Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship.
Yes. Yes.
And it just shifted everything for me. It just made everything started to make sense. It's like, oh, so it's not about like praying. It's really about having a conversation and knowing that there's a higher power who is always with you, who actually wants the best for you. I think sometimes we grow up with this concept like, oh, God is this like judge, like punishing you for everything. And like, unless you're perfect, you don't deserve anything at all. And the chosen really brought me to understand Jesus does not want perfect. Actually, like, not at all. He used to be friends with everyone. And I love the part of the Bible says, come as you are. It's come as you are is as you are. He just really wants a relationship with you, and he wants that blind faith that they talk about in the Bible and that he talks about. But there's no need to be perfect. And I think that, like, especially when you are on Instagram, there's always that feeling, but that you're like behind. It doesn't matter how much you achieve. You feel always behind, even if you achieve all your goals like on a yearly basis, even if you exceed your goals. It's just the nature of everything with social media, not just Instagram. I would say TikTok, YouTube, all the media platforms. And so understanding that, like, wait a second, this perfectionism is unattainable. What am I even working for? And so having that self-worth grounded in the way like Jesus sees you, and you seeing yourself the way he sees you, it's just so liberating, because you're like, you know what? I don't really care if my post got like 10 likes.
So
Like,
true.
the man on the cross says I belong. So that's pretty much all that matters. And so everything else starts becoming very relevant, because your self-worth is really not dictated by anyone. And a lot of people struggle on Instagram because they feel that, oh, I don't like how I look. I'm too old, I'm too fat, or I'm too, like, my office isn't that pretty, or I'm not popular enough. And that's just like so much mental clutter, because at the end of the day, you are perfect in God's eyes. You were made in perfection. And so that was a big kind of catalyst for me, where I was like, okay, everything else starts feeling empty. And unless you have like Jesus or God or some kind of like center in your life, you will chase the wrong things, and it's never going to be enough. You will chase either money or fame or, like drugs or friendships or relationships. It's never going to fill that void. And I have met people that have achieved incredible things. I mean, I'm talking like Hollywood actors. I've worked with huge names, and it's just like they're still empty inside.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that. They don't understand that at the end of the day, it is about how God sees you. And so that just became so freeing for me. And in my case, it was too important for me to just like stay doing Instagram. But I could have stayed if maybe I was early on my business and I wanted to like keep running my business, just like with a different perspective. I think it just shifted my perspective as to how I was posting and how I was running the business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I love what you said, because it's exactly what I experienced. Like, I also went through like some harsh moments in my entrepreneurial journey, because I'm still in my almost fourth year. So I could say that this is still like the early stages, but I got so lost in like vanity metrics, in sales. My worth was completely attached to all of these external outcomes, and I had like no grounding. I talked about this in one of my previous episodes. Like, the only thing that I was taking care of was my body, and not because I saw it as a temple of God, but because I thought that if I looked good, I would basically be accepted and loved, right, and worthy of love.
Yeah.
But I got to a point where I couldn't do this anymore. And you just mentioned, like, maybe if you would have been in your early stages, you would have changed the perspective or shifted into something different, which is exactly what I did, and why I'm like hosting this podcast. And I've never felt more fulfilled talking about God and talking to entrepreneurs about their walk with Jesus, or whatever their beliefs are, but knowing that there's spiritual people that have real values, and that their worth is not tied to Instagram. It's very liberating, and I know it's very inspiring for a lot of people as well. So I'm glad that you brought this up. So What would you say was your shift in identity, your values, and business priorities after you started your walk with Jesus?
So while I was running my business, or afterwards?
We can say while you were running your business, because you mentioned that you started your walk with Jesus on your last year, and now in terms of the business that you're running, because I know you're running real estate business, right, with your family?
Yeah. So here's an interesting story, and this is a true story. I during my business, I spent 7 years creating courses. And the last course that I created, I genuinely was so desperate to be very helpful for people. And I got on my knees. And for the first time, I asked God to help me help them. And I had never done this in my business. I swear, this is exactly what happened. Instead of making it I want to have a successful course, I want to make money, I want to increase my income, which by the way, are very valid goals. I'm not shaming anyone to want to make income. I mean, we're all here we have to make income somehow. So but I really shifted and the intent of why I was creating a course. And I didn't really know what course I wanted to create. I had created several topics around business on Instagram, but I didn't really know exactly what angle I wanted to give it. And I got on my knees one day and I said, just help me help more people. I want to help them. And I swear the following week, I sat down and it was like the course was writing itself. I'm not even kidding. I swear, like hand to Bible. It was, I don't know where this was coming from. The slides were just coming and coming and coming. And then the course ended up being incredibly successful. I mean, probably like 20 times more successful than any of my previous courses. And it made people very successful. It made people a lot of money. And so when people tell me like, your course is amazing, I always tell them like, God wrote it. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I was sort of like a steward to God's message. But it was the first time that I did that. And not to sound like, oh, I'm a saint because I did that. No, I just really didn't know what he wanted me to do. And I really didn't even know how I could help more people. But when I stopped making it about me and put all the intentionality on, okay, it has to be bigger than me. Okay. And for anyone who's posting as a business owner on Instagram, understand that you have a gift that God gave you. And
Amen.
That gift is for you to help other people in whatever shape or form you can help them. It doesn't mean like being God-centric doesn't mean like now I won't talk about anything. No, like it helps no one for you not to talk about your business because there are so many people who are like praying for the solution that you have.
Yes.
Literally praying at night, maybe at 3 a.m, praying for what you have to offer. That one person maybe like has been crying, praying for what you can help them with. And so, but when you start thinking like, okay, my Instagram isn't about me. My Instagram is about all the other people that I can share my gift to. That, like, I want to say in the last year, that completely shifted how I did business, but also shifted the results. I mean, it was like, it's not magic because nothing is magic with Jesus, but it was like endless blessings and abundance and like miracles started to happen and clients everywhere. I'm like, wow, like this is insane. But I could just feel God sort of bringing people from left and right. Every time I would do a post, I would pray over my post. So I was like, may this reach the right audience and may I, help my words. I would do this over lives, everything. Just making it more about other people instead of myself. It's so easy to like stay in your little world. Like I am like the content creator, like I am this big shot of Instagram. At the end of the day, no, you're not. You're here to serve. And it honestly removes the pressure from you. Because when you're on Instagram, you're like, oh, it's all about me. And when you're like, it's not about you. Like no one's looking at your frizzy hair. Everyone is like intent looking as like how you can help them. It's really not all the little details that you're so like, it's like the spotlight syndrome, right? That you think it's all on you. It's not.
Nobody cares as much as you do, right?
About you.
So, about you, exactly. And everyone thinks, oh my God, like spotlight on me. And this is what Instagram makes. What you share is beautiful. And again, this is something that I also went through because when I reconnected with God, it was around the time when I was like, I just but I want to serve people in a much deeper, meaningful way. And I feel that just sharing Instagram tips is not doing it for me. And that's how I got this revelation of, like I want to serve people and help them navigate entrepreneurship and all the lows, especially because I went through so many lows because of all of the things that we talked, like self-worth attached to outcomes, vanity metrics. And I want to help them navigate and work in their mind and work in their spirit. And of course, their business as well. But there's like these important foundations that a lot of people forget. And now I'm doing it. And it totally changed the script. Like my posts are performing so poorly in terms of like reach. Like I'm not even
Performing, yeah,
reaching 0.1% of my audience, but I'm so fulfilled. And like the people that I'm actually reaching, because I always know that, and I always tell God, like, I know, God, I'm gonna reach the right people through this post. Like, it doesn't have to reach a million people. If it just reaches one people and it impacts this person's life, I know I'm already, following my purpose. And what you mentioned about all of us having God-given gifts, I've talked about this multiple times in the podcast. We all have a God-given gift, and when we find what our true purpose is and we align it with our God-given gift, which is to serve others, magic happens. Miracles come and clients come, and like, you don't have to force things. So I love that you mentioned that. And yeah, what does your life and business look nowadays? Walking with Jesus, reconnecting with God.
Well, I start my morning. I heard this probably a few months ago, and I've been using it every morning, which is when I'm still in bed, I tell God, please, God, get in my head before I do. And it just makes all the difference, because I'm an overthinker, and I tend to catastrophize a lot of things, and it's just like all your imagination. So I ask God to really get in there and to guide my day, and a constant conversation with Jesus. It's no longer, I learned, it's like, it's no longer about praying, which is great too. You can go to church, or you can on your knees, whatever way helps you get in with agreement with God. But to me, it's just like gratitude for everything,
Yes.
the smallest things. Like, okay, like my coffee is warm, I have AC, I'm healthy, like, my God, like I can walk, I'm not attached to a machine to breathe, like just the little things. And it just makes your life really changes when you start looking at the tiniest of things, and in awe and wonder and in gratitude. It's probably the best way to connect to God. A lot of people say, like, how can
Yeah.
I connect? Well, like, just acknowledge him, like, in everything that
Mm.
you do. And so, yeah, it's sort of, you were talking about how the sharing Instagram tips started to become empty. And I felt the same way. I'm like, okay, how many times am I going to post about like the best hooks to have on your next carousel? Like,
Oh my God.
as useful as that can be, it's going to, like, it becomes, a little boring and a little repetitive, and you're not fulfilled anymore. But I went through the same thing after the whole thing happened with my course, and I could really feel the presence of God. I told God, I'm like, okay, I am all in with you now. I want all in. Whatever that looks like, just tell me how I can share your message, how I can become a better vessel for you. And so another thing that I ask God every day is, like, I tell him, I realize there's a gap between the person that I am and the person that you need me to be. Just close that gap, because
Beautiful.
I know I'm not there every day. And so I ask whatever that looks like, because you never know. Sometimes we pray for very specific things, and then God has like a much bigger, much better plan, and we think we
Yeah.
know it all. And so you just have to like find joy in the journey, because he knows what he's doing. And so everything I do now is very God centered, which sometimes means letting go of toxic relationships, because sometimes you do start to feel like, is this worth my time? Like, is this, is this person really aligned with my values? And so you
Yeah.
start becoming very picky about where you spend your time, even the music that you consume, the shows that you watch, the movies that you go to see. It's everything. You start becoming so protective of everything that's going into your brain and your heart, because it does affect it. And
Yeah.
so I
100%.
also try to start my days with Christian pop music, and it
I love it.
completely changes my mornings. I created like a Spotify, and it has the best songs, and I'm jumping up and down, and it's just like all these worship songs that are
Super
very uplifting,
empowering.
and they're
Yeah.
empowering too, because that's exactly what you want. Some days are easier than others, and so you need that God vitamin. I call it, you know, the Jesus diet.
I love it. Random question. What's your favorite Christian artist?
I like CC Williams a lot.
She's so good.
She is so good. Yes. But there's so many. I like the song by her name. I think it's Francesca Battistelli. She has a song called He Knows My Name. And it is the most perfect song if you're on Instagram. Because when you feel small, that you're not like getting the enough followers or enough visibility or enough of that. She has this song that says like, I don't need my name in lights because he knows my name. And honestly, like that's all that matters. It's such a good song. Yeah, it's great to start your day with positive reaffirmations of the presence of God in your life.
100%. I'm looking for an artist that I love that I discovered recently. Frank Forrest, I think. I'm trying to find him now. But yeah, he's a Christian artist and his music is amazing. And
You
he's
have
like,
to share it with me.
yeah, it's like pop music.
I like Christian pop a lot.
Yeah, it's like pop that you would listen on the radio. And something that I've noticed a lot is that there's a lot of trending Christian songs on Instagram
Yeah.
lately. So you'll see a lot of reels with trending Christian songs.
I love
And the
that.
funny thing is that some people don't even know they're Christian songs.
I love Oceans, of course. Oceans is like the one that aligns you the best.
Yeah, but I love what you said about waking up. I also have this thing now when I wake up, and I love like get into my head before I do. What I do when I wake up is like I literally just start saying, God, thank you for this day ahead, for all the blessings that are coming, for all the things that I have, for the things that happened. And I get into that gratitude mode with God first. It's the first thing that I do nowadays. And it shifts everything. And another thing that I've shared on the podcast before is I have this hourly alarm to rewire my subconscious. So every time, whatever, doesn't matter what I'm doing, unless I'm like here with you or with a friend or whatever. If I'm like working and the alarm goes off, I'll stop and I'll enter into gratitude mode. God, thank you for this moment. Thank you for the business that I'm running. Thank you for the meal that I just had. And also thank you for because I also want to attract things into my life. Like I also want my business to grow, to serve more people. So I also thank him for these things that might not be here yet, but I know they're coming or better as well, right? Because you never know with God, it could be that or better in his own time as well.
It's so true. And Jesus described it in one line in the Bible. He says, pray as if the things have already come true. I mean, Jesus said this before like all these manifestation people and gurus and spiritual people, which is fine. Jesus was the one who said it, in the kingdom of God, absolutely everything is possible with God. And so you have to pray as if it's already here.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I read my Bible every morning as well. And this morning I was reading Matthew chapter 7, and it said something about this specifically that we're talking about. So I'm just going to grab it right now and I want to read it. And it's literally what like modern spirituality calls manifestation, but it's ask and keep asking and it will be given to you. Seek and keep on seeking and you will find it. Knock and keep on knocking and the door will be open for you. For everyone who keeps on asking receives, and he who keeps on seeking finds, and to him who keeps on knocking it will be open. So I even highlighted and everything because I was like, oh, this is so good. I love that we're talking about this.
It's so true.
I wanted to ask you as well, are there any lessons from your business season that still serve you now?
Yeah, for sure. Again, making it about how you can be of service instead of just thinking about your personal achievement really helps guide your decisions. And so every interaction that I have, I really try to make it a positive interaction, and I try to just see beyond what I can get from a person. It's like really connecting at a deeper level. I think when you're on Instagram, you connect so much digitally that you forget about real connections. So reestablishing my capacity to connect with other individuals completely off of Instagram has been very rewarding, especially because I don't feel the need to be on the phone. Like I literally don't have Instagram. I deleted the app. I don't know if I'll come back, but for now it's deleted because I had a natural response to go check it all the time. If you spend many years doing that, you're like, it's so triggering, right? It's every 5 minutes you have to check it and you become so unproductive, literally. And so once you cut that off, I realized I had so much time that I didn't have on Instagram. And so I've started reading a lot of different things, studying things that I always wanted to learn about as well, which is, you rediscover time that you didn't have. But yeah, in terms of business, one of the best things, it's putting it in God's hands. I mean, I've been through challenging times in my career. And instead of asking God for a specific outcome, I just tell him like, just take me wherever I'm going to be the happiest. Just take me there, because I don't know what that looks like. Only you know what that looks like.
Yeah. Surrendering to his timeline. I went through, so I moved, that I'm living in between Bali and Barcelona, and moving back to Barcelona, I feel like I had to face a lot of my old demons, and like it was like an identity crash. And I used to be very controlling in the past, like wanted to control the outcome of my sales, my launches, my relationships. And when I was in Bali and I, reconnected with God, I totally learned how to surrender. And like, I felt like I was flowing at peace. But coming back to Barcelona, I felt like I stepped into this old identity of gripping to control. And then things started to go wrong again. Sales dropped, and I just started to focus on all the wrong things until it got to a point, like it was like literally like a month ago or less. I was like, I can't do this anymore, God. I surrender again. Jesus, take the lead, because I can't. And the moment that I stepped into that surrender again,
how you're being tested to see if you actually learn the lesson.
Absolutely. And and it's true. Like it's like, a spiritual awakening always tests you to see if you're like still clinging on to an old identity, or you're fully stepped into the new one. And I felt so much peace. And again, things started flowing, and things might not be going as I expected right now, but I feel so much peace and so much clarity. And I'm like, connected to God. And as I said before, I have my moments with him in the morning and every hour. So it just feels so nice. Also, because I know that I am supported and that nothing can go wrong. Like, I'm always going to be supported and I'm always going to be guided. So everything is just part of my story and the lessons that I have to learn, so that I can also serve people in better ways.
So true. And by the way, one thing that I have learned also is that sometimes the biggest blessings come from unanswered prayers. And
love that.
Sometimes you're like, why? God said no, like I wanted this. And then time passes and you're like, oh, okay,
this is why.
Here's why. Okay, so like, let me stop trying to take the wheel. Because you will be praying, like crying. We've all been there, where you're like, you were so intent on something very specific, and the answer is no. And sometimes it may be no, because another bigger door is going to open for you. And sometimes it may be not right now.
Yes.
And so you have to also, he's preparing you for something bigger. And it is through the journey that then he's going to give to you something. But know that he's always listening. It's never God didn't hear me, or God, where is he? You may feel like sometimes that he's not listening, but he's always there. I think people think that if you are a Christian, somehow you're never going to struggle with anything. You're never going to have a bad day. Like somehow you and I are on this MLM and we're trying to sell people Christianity. Like we gain nothing from it.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Like we don't have a commission with Jesus or anything.
And also nobody forced us either. It was our own decision.
Right. You can't force this on anyone. And so, like the idea is for you to really put it, like surrender and even if you have bad days, he's always there. I love this thing that I read the other day. It said, the presence of difficulty does not signify the absence of God. And it's so true. Like you will have trials. And this is why you have to go back and rely on, your faith. But it doesn't mean that my life is not going to be perfect. I mean, I wish you was. It just means that you understand that the plan is working in your favor and to fully trust it, even if it doesn't look that way right now. But it always works out. It always does.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this kind of like answers my next question, which is, what would you say to the entrepreneur who feels spiritually misaligned right now?
Yeah, I definitely, if I can give you one very practical and actionable tip, because I'm all about actionable.
Of course you are.
I would say with every single thing, like if you are deciding to start a new project or a new offer or, a new launch or whatever it is, really get clear on the intention. Intentionality is so important because that's going to drive everything else. Why are you doing this? Why? What's the point? Is it just to get rich? Is it just to get famous? Or do you actually want to help someone else? Do you want to pay for like cancer treatment for a loved one? Because having that intentionality is going to be so important from now on, like on your day to day. So if you have a bad day in your business, going back to that intentionality is going to be your driver. It could be also paying for college for your kids, or getting a new house, or not having your house foreclosed. It could be endless things. But having that intentionality and praying over it is going to be your driver during the dark sides, during the moments when you're tired, when you are like, you don't have signals of success yet. And you have to go back to that, and you have to be like, okay, this is what I am doing this. And it's a way to step out of yourself, because it's going to help you so much. It's going to free yourself from self-judgment. It's going to be like, it's not about me. It's about this thing, or this effort, or this goal that I have, or this person. And so that really changes. And understanding that, of course, asking God help for that. If you ask God, like, hey, God, I want to be rich and famous. Well, he's going to be like, what are you going to do without money? And you could ask for that, but, maybe you want to pay off, debt for your mom or whatever it is. But see if you can go outside and see beyond yourself. It makes all the difference, I swear.
Yeah, I love this advice. I'm actually going to, after I finish this, I'm going to write down all my intentions. Sometimes if you don't have you have them written down, you lose sight of them as well, right?
So true.
Has God revealed anything about your future purpose or how you'll serve in a new way?
Every day. It's not like a big moment. Every day I try and be, like a vessel for him. I try to talk about him, not like in a preachy way, but even like in a representative way. For example, if I see someone like a cashier that's like, unhappy, I'll just be extra nice. Like, hey, like, it looks like you're having a hard day. I hope your day's better. Thank you for everything. Or like, you're doing a fantastic work. You're very good at your job. People think that you need a huge impact. Like somehow you need a stage with thousands of people, and that those are the only people who can make an impact. But even like holding the door for someone, or telling someone like, oh my God, your hair looks so nice. That may be the only thing they needed to hear. Maybe not to, kind of like go over the edge. And it's just like little things like that, that I feel that I feel that I'm being kind of like a vessel for his message. Not just like spreading the message, but being kind. Like Christians should that should be the message for people. Just like, if you can't help 100%. Someone, just don't hurt them. Just be like,
that's what it really means to embody Jesus and Christ's values, right? I want to share a story as well of something that happened and like the before and after Jesus. So last year, my sister and we bought this apartment in Barcelona, and there was a homeless guy that slept right at the door front of our building. And at first I was really upset, and I was like very capitalistic way thinking like, oh, it's going to reduce the value of the property if we want to sell it again. And like, it just looks like bad, dirty. And I was talking to like the administration, how can we get him out? Like very selfish. And then back when I came back from Bali, having Jesus with me, one day it was like this voice told me, say hi to him, talk to him. So he was at the door again, like he slept on a sleeping bag. And I was like, hey, what's your name? Like the face of this man, like it was like, you're like seeing me as a person. He got so happy and he smiled, and I'm getting goosebumps right now just sharing this. And he was like, oh, I'm a Moseb, and what about you? And oh, I'm Juan. And then like every time I saw him, we talk like, so where are you from? And how long have you been here for? Do you miss home? And he was like, every day. And now I'm thinking, oh, I wish I could help him in some way to get back home, because that's what he wants. And every time I see him now, I'm just like, like we say hi to each, and it's just beautiful. And it's something that I don't think it would have happened if I wouldn't have gone to know Jesus, to be honest.
And I do think that he sends people like that to test you. See, how you treat like even waiters at a restaurant. I will never understand people who mistreat waiters. And it's like, you think you're better than like somehow someone who's like in service. But sometimes, it's just like as simple as that. It's just like, hi, how are you? How's your day going? Like just ask someone just asking someone how their day is going is probably one of the best things that you can do for someone.
Yeah.
It shows them that you're seeing them, that you're acknowledging them.
Exactly.
I think everyone is so focused on their phones, they're forgetting about the people around them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was thinking about hosting this challenge for my community called like 21 Days of Kindness, and just giving them like one act of kindness to do every single day. Because again, it also changes your your mind, right?
Totally.
If you do good things, you feel good, and then you start seeing the world in a different way. So
Yeah.
I might still do it. I still haven't planned it, but I'm definitely gonna do it.
And you
Okay,
get
so
that
I have,
back. Everything
yeah,
that you put
exactly.
out, you get back. It's a mirror. Yeah.
100%. I mean, I'm not telling people to do it just because they want to get stuff back, but you do. It's just like the law of
Right.
reciprocity, right?
100.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not to get things back. It's just because you will feel better. And at the
Mm,
end of the day, it's so cheap. Like saying hi to someone and asking
costs
about their
nothing.
day. Is this that difficult? Is this the world we live in? We can't even ask someone about their day. I
Totally,
can't believe
totally.
that.
Totally, 100%. So I have this new section on the podcast, which is called the rapid fire. So I'm just going to
Okay.
ask you a couple of rapid questions
Ooh, I like it.
and then we'll wrap it up. Okay. So one lesson you've had to unlearn.
Oh my God, I had to unlearn. There's so many. How much time do we have?
I mean, we could stay here for hours because,
Yeah, like I've had to definitely the need for control. I am a control freak. I am a perfectionist type A in the worst possible way. OCD, clinical. I mean, you've been to my house. It looks like a museum. So, I mean, I'm not cured, okay? But I have tried to let the need for control and leave it in God's hands. I would say that is part of my prayer daily, because I sometimes I want to, like, okay, like it's not happening in my rhythm, like, and okay,
yeah.
it's in God's hands, just leave it.
I think we can all relate to that. I don't know absolutely anyone who's not a bit of a control freak in some way. But yeah, walking with Jesus and
Yeah.
God really helps with that. One thing you miss about being in the game.
I definitely miss the people. I made some great friendships. You, of course, are one of them. I mean, you made my hard times so much better, because we used to just laugh together, and honestly, we kind of became almost like family,
Yeah,
talking 10 times a day. And sometimes you do need
literally.
that on Instagram, because it
Yeah.
can be lonely. A lot of the students became great friends, and I have huge admiration for so many people on the platform. I mean, colleagues as well. There's fantastic people, and I do miss the interactions with a ton of them. I just wish we were closer and I could see them face to face. But I do miss a lot of people.
That's beautiful. Yeah. And we miss you. Like,
I miss
honestly,
you.
having someone to be able to talk to every day about being on Instagram and
Yeah.
content, like nobody in your life, like your friends or family, nobody else understands
No one
that. So having
understands.
right.
No.
So, but I'm glad that we've stayed in touch and we
Me
connect with
too.
each other every now and then.
We're
One
blessed.
thing you'll never go back to.
I think the business aspect probably is something that I feel that it just became too self-indulgent for me, the way that Instagram required for me to be posting. I don't know that I could be that self-indulgent now, knowing what I know now, and being with the foundation that it's bigger than me, it's not about me. I'm not sure that I could do that. When I look at my at my old content, I'm like, wow, I was confident, and I was posting a ton of stuff about myself and photos, and endless photos, which again is great, but I don't know that I have it in me anymore. I don't know that
Yeah.
I would feel as happy doing that. Not that I
Yeah.
would feel that I would feel as fulfilled, I think is the right word. I don't think that it would be like as energizing as it was before. I need more. I need more now. I need more depth. I need deeper connection. I need something that where I can be more of service than just being, self-indulgent. It just Instagram sometimes can feel like you're building a monument to yourself. Honestly,
100%.
it's like your
100%.
entire page is like photos and photos of you dancing, you talking, you saying, you. It's like, oh my God, I'm like, tired of me. I don't want to see my face
Yeah.
anymore. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's complicated when you're having a personal brand, right? Because at the end of the day, you do have to show your face. You do have to show. But yeah,
You
like
do.
I know yeah, exactly. What does being an awakened entrepreneur mean to you? Even though you're not in entrepreneurship anymore. Well, you are kind of.
Well, I was when I was running the business. So definitely it is using your gift that God gave you, using it for something bigger than yourself. It's honestly so important. So many people have incredible skills,
Yeah.
like very niche things. Again, you don't have to help millions of people. If you change the life of one person or two people, that is already using your gift. And so the God-centric entrepreneurship would start there for me, understanding what is your gift. And some people are like, I have no gifts. I'm sure you have a
Everyone
gift.
has. Everyone has.
Everyone has something. And you don't have to be the best in the world for that to be useful. Because some people are like, well, if I'm not number one, if I'm not Beethoven of music, then like, what's the point? Which
Yeah.
happens to a
That's
lot
just
of
ego.
people. Yeah, it's just ego. And so that's another one, like the intentionality and using God's gift in a bigger way than yourself. So many people just stay, with their gift because they don't think that they can help someone, or they think they're going to be judged. And who cares? Like, whoever's judging you, by the way, like it's so already, they've already
It's their
behind you.
problem.
I
Yeah.
would say anyone who talks behind your back is already behind you. So who cares?
Yeah. I love this that you shared about what does being an awakened entrepreneur mean, because it's exactly why I also created my program, because I believe that we all have a set of God-given gifts, right? And again, if we were all in alignment with those, because sadly most people don't never get to discover them and use them to serve others. But if we were all using our gifts to serve the world, what a different world we would be living
Oh my
in, right?
goodness. True. And I want to share something that I learned with my own business coach, which was Amy Porterfield. So Amy Porterfield has this concept that really resonated with me and resonates with a lot of people. I want to share it. It's called the 10% edge, which means you only need to be 10% ahead of the person you're trying to help. A lot of us, and it happens more to women, think that unless we're complete experts, PhD level in the particular subject matter, we can't be of use, we can't be helpful. And that is entirely false. If you are at least 10%, you can absolutely guide someone to get to that 10% edge.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you need to think about, wait a second, all the things that you've learned, maybe you've been doing whatever you've been doing for 5 months or a year, you can definitely help someone who's on, like
Mm.
1-0. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
let's not wait until the perfect stars align where you have all the knowledge, you have read all the books, because honestly, that's never going to come.
Never.
I mean, I did marketing for 25 years, and I promise you, I was never perfect in marketing. It was always something new and something I kept learning, I kept reading, and I always had this drive to keep, learning more so I could be more helpful. I never felt like I was at 100%. Honestly, I never did at 25 years. And so it's important that people understand, like, there are gifts that they have, even if they just started something, they can still be of use to someone.
100%. And something that I also say quite often is that you don't need more certifications. Your story, the challenges you've been through, your breakdowns, the nights you've cried out to sleep, those make part of your certification as well. Now you can help others with that as well. So yeah, I love what you mentioned. Yeah. Well, Carole, this was such a fun conversation. I missed these chats with you so much. I'm so grateful with God that you were able to make it, and I'm grateful with you, of course, as well. I usually ask my guests, where can people find you? But I guess right now they can't find you anywhere. No,
I still have my email. You can always write. I would love if this podcast made an impact, or you just want to say hi, you can write me on my email. It's on my Instagram page. But yeah, I feel truly blessed to be giving this opportunity to talk to you. I congratulate you for doing the most important work that you're doing right now. This truly is very, very important. Using your platform, using your mind to help people and to spread the message. I feel we are so blessed to be given this opportunity. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I will be sharing your email in the show notes and in the description of the video on YouTube. And if you enjoyed this show, please rate it on Spotify. It will really help me reach more people and spread this message. And if you're on YouTube, make sure to leave a comment. If you miss Carole, let us know as well in the comments. And I will see you next week for another show. Bye.
The last year it was like that. I started feeling, there has to be more. I started feeling a little cynical about things also, like, another algorithm change. Here we go. The tone, the people who follow me probably realized that I was just like over it, because I was always angry and, very preachy, because I was just tired. I was tired of everything, and everything felt very superficial. I just wanted more from life. And honestly, I walked away and I didn't even look back. I haven't missed it once, which I thought I would, but I